Welcome back to Short Answers, where we dig into the everyday questions you never thought to ask. Today's question is a good one. Stick around because the truth is way weirder than you think.
For 70 years, scientists had a confident answer to one of the most familiar sounds on Earth. And then, in 2023, a researcher in Vienna took a few cat voice boxes, hooked them up to an air pump, and broke the entire theory. So today, the short answer to why do cats actually purr and why did the old answer turn out to be wrong? Cats purr. You know this. I know this. Even people who have never owned a cat know this. Stroke a cat the right way, and out comes that low, rumbly, vibrating engine sound, usually right against your leg at the exact moment you needed it most. But here's something weird. That sound, somewhere between 20 and 150 vibrations per second, is way deeper than it should be coming out of an animal that weighs 10 pounds. By the rules of physics that govern almost every other sound-making mammal, a cat that small should sound more like a kitten squeak, not a tiny outboard motor. So how does a small animal make such a deep sound, and why does it do it? For most of the 20th century, scientists thought they had it figured out. They were wrong. Or at least, they were only half right. In this video, I'm going to walk you through 3 things that surprised even the experts. 1. What's actually happening inside a cat's throat when it purrs. Spoiler, it's not what your biology textbook says. 2. The real reason cats purr, which is way stranger than they're happy. And 3. The wild idea that cat purrs might actually heal bones. Not metaphorically, actually. Stick around. The third one has real research behind it. Okay, the old textbook answer, the one in every veterinary manual from about 1972 onwards, goes like this. Inside a cat's throat, there's a structure called the larynx. That's the voice box, same thing you and I have. And around the larynx are tiny muscles called laryngeal muscles that open and close the space between the vocal cords. The theory was, when a cat decides to purr, a special part of its brain, a thing scientists call a neural oscillator, sends out a steady rhythmic signal, pulse, 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 about 25 to 30 times per second. Each pulse tells the laryngeal muscles to twitch, twitch, and those twitches open and close the airway in tiny bursts. Air rushes through, gets chopped up by the twitching muscles, and out comes that low rumble. It was a clean theory. It explained the steady frequency. It explained why purring works both when a cat is breathing in and when it's breathing out. And it had some evidence. When scientists measured electrical activity in those muscles, they saw exactly the rhythmic pulses the theory predicted. For 50 years, that was the answer. And then a researcher named Christian Herbst at the University of Vienna did one of those experiments that quietly upends an entire field. You're going to love what he found. In 2023, Herbst and his team published a paper in the journal Current Biology. They got hold of 8 cat larynxes, voice boxes, from cats that had been euthanized for unrelated medical reasons, with the owner's permission, of course. Now think about what a dead voice box can do. By the old theory, nothing. No brain, no nerves, no muscle pulses, so it shouldn't be able to purr. Herbst's team mounted these 8 larynxes on a kind of laboratory rig, brought the vocal cords gently together, and pumped warm humidified air through them, basically mimicking a cat's breath. And every single one of them, all 8, started purring. No brain, no nerves, no muscle twitches, just air flowing through tissue.
The frequencies they measured? 25 to 30 vibrations per second, right in the cat purr zone. This is the experimental equivalent of finding out that a guitar plays itself if you just blow on it. So what's going on? Herbst's team dissected the vocal cords, and they found something nobody had paid close attention to before. Embedded right inside the vocal cords were these dense little pads of fibrous tissue, connective tissue masses up to 4 millimeters across. That doesn't sound like much, but for a cat-sized vocal cord, that's huge. These pads make the vocal cords much heavier and denser than they otherwise would be. And here's the cool part. Heavier vocal cords vibrate slower. That's just physics. A thick rubber band makes a deeper twang than a thin one. A thick guitar string plays a lower note than a thin one. These tissue pads are the reason a tiny cat can produce a sound that's basically in the same frequency range as a human male's lowest voice. The pads turn the cat's larynx into the animal equivalent of a bass guitar. And once those pads are there, you don't need a special brain oscillator anymore. Just exhale, and the airflow alone makes the cords flutter at that low frequency. It's the same way your vocal cords work when you do that creaky low voice, vocal fry. Your vocal cords aren't twitching to a brain rhythm. They're just resonating slowly because of how they're shaped. A cat purr is basically continuous, gentle vocal fry that a cat can keep up while breathing in and out. Okay, so that's how a cat purrs. Mystery solved, more or less. The old theory wasn't completely wrong. Muscles may still help fine-tune things, but it's mostly the anatomy doing the work. Now we get to the better question. Why? Why do cats do this at all? You probably think you know. You're about half right. Cats purr when they're content. That part is true. A cat on your lap, getting petted, eyes closed, that's a happy purr. But cats also purr when they're terrified. They purr when they're injured. Veterinarians have heard cats purring on the operating table. Cats purr while giving birth. Cats purr while dying. That is not the behavior of an animal whose purr means, "I'm happy." That is the behavior of an animal whose purr means something else entirely. The current best guess from biologists is that purring is a self-soothing mechanism, like a person humming under their breath when they're stressed. The cat's purr is calming to itself first, and incidentally calming to whoever is nearby. There's also a communication angle. Newborn kittens can't see or hear well for the first couple of weeks of life, but they can feel vibrations. So mother cats purr while nursing, and the kittens purr back. It's basically a "you're safe, I'm here" signal that works through touch. There's even a theory that domestic cats developed a special higher-pitched solicitation purr specifically to manipulate humans. This purr has a frequency component that overlaps with the cry of a human baby. Cat researchers think cats stumbled into this acoustic trick by accident, and we've been losing the war ever since. That is, and I cannot stress this enough, your cat is purring at you the same way a baby cries at you, on purpose. Now for the wildest part. Remember those frequencies? 25 to 150 vibrations per second. In completely unrelated medical research, scientists have known for decades that vibrations in roughly that same range, about 25 to 50 hertz, promote bone density and accelerate fracture healing in humans. There are actual physical therapy devices that vibrate at those frequencies to help people recover from injuries.
And strangely, that's exactly the range cats purr at. Domestic cats, big cats, even cheetahs, all of them produce strong frequencies at 25 and 50 hertz, almost like the entire cat family converged on the same healing band. This led researchers like Professor Leslie Lyons at the University of Missouri to ask a question that sounds a little crazy at first. What if cats purr because it physically helps them heal? Here's the logic. Purring takes energy. Not a lot, but some. Evolution does not waste energy. If an injured animal is using energy to purr, that purring must be doing something useful. And cats spend an enormous amount of their lives lying still. They sleep 12 to 16 hours a day. That's great for conserving energy, but it's terrible for bone density and muscle tone, the same problem astronauts have in zero gravity. The healing-purr hypothesis is this. By purring in their resting state, cats may be giving themselves a low-energy, built-in physical therapy session. Bones stay strong, tendons stay healthy, soft tissues get a constant gentle workout, all without having to move. Now, to be honest with you, this part isn't proven the way the anatomy is. It's a hypothesis. The frequency match is real. The benefits to humans from those frequencies are real. The leap to cats heal themselves with purring is still being studied. But if true, it would mean every cat owner has been living with a small, fuzzy, self-repairing vibration machine and didn't know it. So, short answer, how do cats purr? Their vocal cords have special dense tissue pads that let them vibrate slowly enough to produce a deep, rumbly sound just from airflow. No muscle twitching needed. The brain doesn't have to do much at all. Why do cats purr? Mostly self-soothing, sometimes communication, sometimes maybe self-healing. And it took us until 2023 to even get the how right. The cat is sitting on your lap right now, knowing nothing about this controversy, fully indifferent to the 70 years of scientific argument it caused, just doing the same thing cats have been doing for millions of years. Honestly, kind of perfect. If you learned something, the best thing you can do is hit that subscribe button. I post short answers to questions like this every single week. Pet a cat for me on the way out. See you next time.
That's it for today. If you learned something new, hit that like button. It really does help the channel. And if you want more short answers to questions you didn't know you had, go ahead and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.